Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Jane Stoller. She is the owner, founder, and CEO of Organized Jane. How are you doing today, Jane?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We've been trying to connect and get this done for a while, so I'm very happy that we're finally able to connect and get you on the show and share a bit about your story and journey. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here and share with me a bit about your story and your journey. I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate you.
Yes, well, likewise, I appreciate this platform.
Well, let's jump right in. So, Jane, you are a life and business organizer, a speaker, an author, and a university instructor. That is one hell of a resume. How do you prioritize and organize for yourself so you have the time to fit all this into your life?
It's so funny because I do so many things and everybody is like, oh my gosh, you should be so stressed, or how do you have time? But if you're organized, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's taken me 10 plus years to get all of these kind of streams in order. So people think it happens overnight, but it doesn't. But really, it's just organizing like the life and the systems and getting it set up so I'm not stressed, right? And that's the beauty of it all.
How did you get into the world of life and business organizing?
Oh my gosh. So I grew up in rural Ontario. I don't know if a lot of Canadians are listening, but on a dairy farm. And when I was 6 years old, I really got passionate about organizing. And I used to organize everything from my pet cats to, they never stay put, to stuffed animals to books. And I've also done a lot of research on this. And between the ages of 6 and 8, that children actually start to show signs of being organized or disorganized, and also the time to help make the change of it.
Right.
But it was a passion that was ingrained in me. I do have Swiss parents, and Switzerland is an uber organized country. So that's how I just started at a young age, and I would, help my teachers, and into high school and university, always be helping people get organized. And I did it on the side for over a decade while I worked in corporate, and then decided to take the entrepreneurial leap 3 years ago.
Wow. 6 years old, you started. Holy shit. That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
But I guess those are the formative years. So, hey.
Mm-hmm.
So what inspired you to start a business to help others get organized? Since you said you made the jump recently from corporate, what inspired you to do that?
Yeah. So in my mind, I always thought I had to get degrees, get an MBA, be a VP at a big corporation, and that was success. And I did that. And even when I was working there, I always still loved, and my last job was really just helping processes get organized and making businesses profitable. It was a really kind of a consulting role. And I loved working with all the people in corporate, but I didn't like at the end of the day that the shareholders would get all the benefits. So for me, I was like, you know what? So many people are asking now for me to help them get their business organized and their life. Mm-hmm. I really want to help that person versus helping kind of just shareholders. And that's what really inspired me to take the jump.
Okay. Now, do the two types of organizing or decluttering that you work on with your clients go hand in hand, or do some of your clients just come to you for one or the other?
Yeah, it used to. When I first started, I would take, anything, when you're starting a business, I just took as many clients, and whoever had issues, whatever, I would tailor programs to them. But now I've really found that my niche and where my experience and skill set lies is my 6-step online course to help women entrepreneurs get the back end of their business organized. So the first step really does include their life as well. So I still say the life-biz organizing part. Right. But really now I've been able to scale this and also really focus on my niche.
So would you say then that it does actually start with life first and then moves to the business?
Well, I say that in my first step, we look at both together because
Okay.
I want entrepreneurs to also say, okay, where are you spending your personal time? Can we also optimize things there?
Right.
I think it really does go hand in hand, especially when you're a business owner, because your life is your business.
Yeah, very true. Do you work with specifically women? And if so, why did you decide to focus your business specifically on women?
So I'm very inclusive. I love all races, all genders.
Yeah.
But the reason was in my corporate field, I worked for a large construction company for over a decade, and it was predominantly men. So
Okay.
I really downplayed my love for fashion and beauty and helping, lifestyle. So I didn't get a chance to really work with women doing that. So, you know what? I do allow men into my courses, and I love working with men. But now I feel like I can finally be myself. I can talk. It's just the women I'm surrounded with in these businesses. It's just who I enjoy working with right now.
Right. Now, would you say though that the majority of your clients are women?
The majority, yes, because my branding and where I'm focused now. Yeah, but I still do get quite a lot of men, and usually the men are sometimes even more disorganized.
That doesn't surprise me. But it just organically, because of your branding and whatnot,
exactly
lean towards women. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you walk us through your process from the time a client contacts you to work with you to your process with them?
Yeah. So I really like to keep my clients organic too, in terms of a lot of people have been following me or seen my advice. I give a lot of free resources on my YouTube channel. I have a webinar that runs constantly. I have a blog, I have Instagram. So I do a lot of freebies, and I just want everyone to kind of get thinking about getting organized and really understand, my mantra, some tips. And then I offer everybody a free call to like a free 30-minute declutter breakthrough call, I call it.
Right.
And that really, there's some questions to answer. And it really is a chance for me to get to know the person, on the other end of the call, what they do, their specific organizing challenges. And then if my course is a fit for them, because now I really only offer one type of solution or one type of offer.
Okay.
And so I make sure it's a fit for them. And a lot of people are not ready to work with me. If you're a new business, no, because you're just focused on getting clients.
Yeah.
I want to work with you when you're overwhelmed and you need to get organized.
Right. Now, you mentioned mantra. I read that your mantra is the closet sets the mood for the entire day. Can you talk to us a bit about that and tell us where and how you came up with that mantra?
Yes. So my first book I wrote, it was really on lifestyle organizing because I felt kind of trapped in construction. I wanted to get my passion out, and I focused more on just, lifestyle and stuff.
Right.
And that's where I had a big chapter on closets, because for me, that has always been when I show up to work, and I'm not rushed. I know what I'm going to wear. Nothing is wrinkled. I show up like a boss. Then I don't think about it the rest of the day, so I can focus on my work. So I really believe that if you're late already in the morning, it sets the mood for the day. If you already wasted 10 minutes a day in your closet, that's 10 minutes you could have been focusing on something more productive.
Right.
So that's why it's been my mantra.
You've also said that the closet is a great place to learn, practice, and hone your skills of organization, which can transfer over to the rest of your organizing skills. Why do you believe that? And is that where you start with all your clients? I mean, what if they already have an organized closet? Is it just the rest of their lives they need help structuring and organizing?
Yeah, so I used to, before I had my online course, I did actually talk about the closet. It was a first step because I like to kind of understand, I find that a lot of clients, the way they organize their closet is the way they organize their office, their files. And it's the same thing. A lot of my tips about 80% of your clothes should be front and center that you wear, the same with your computer files in your office or your desktop. So they're very similar skills. And now in my course, we focus a little bit more on tasks, but the closet is definitely still in there.
For you, what is the most exciting or inspiring part of your business?
Oh, and I think I mentioned it before, but just helping these business owners reduce their overwhelm. I'm just so happy when I get, an Instagram text from them or just a phone call or a note saying, I've done this and I feel so much better. So just really helping business owners continue their businesses and thrive by not being overwhelmed.
Now, you mentioned earlier at the outset that one of your books, you've written a couple of critically acclaimed books on organization. Can you talk a bit about each one of them and what inspired you to write the books?
Yeah. So my first one, Organizing for Your Lifestyle, was really when I was working in corporate and I was doing, side business organizing. But it was really for myself to unleash my passion in a book and say, this is what I'm good at. This is what, and I wanted to share it with other people. So if I couldn't be there, I was living in Switzerland at the time. If I couldn't be there to help you, here's my book and you can read some tips in there. And that's how the first one came about. And I'm I love writing and love books. So it was always a dream of mine.
Yeah.
And the second one came, through an agent, and it was published by the Dummies collection, Decluttering for Dummies. And what I found unique about that is it was really it still was a chance for me to put my own take on it. So the book is really, part one is all about mental decluttering, how we need to get task focused. The second part is about stuff. And the third is about digital decluttering, which is so huge today.
Right. How did that whole thing come about to write a book under the Dummies series? Like, how did that whole thing happen for you?
Yeah, I had a book pitch for my own book. And then I had an agent who was helping me. And then he said, you know what, they're pitching for the Dummies. Are you interested? And I thought, well, that's a great brand to have under there. They're so organized, that company. I'm so impressed. They pump out those books. But it's a really great company. And I've always loved Dummies books because they're reference books. You keep them forever. You look back. You don't need to read the whole thing. So I was just very excited for that opportunity.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, I also read you're currently working on your third book. Can you share a bit about that one with us?
Yes, it's going to be on my 6 steps to organize your life and business. And it's currently it'll probably be about 2023 until it's out. Okay. Bit of a longer timeline.
Yeah. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you just launch a podcast too?
I did. On March 21st, I launched a podcast.
Tell us a bit about that.
So, I was reluctant because I have a YouTube channel I'm really focused on. I'm really passionate about being on Instagram and on my email list but the podcasts I find I listen to them all the time when I'm doing driving or folding laundry. And I just love podcasts. And I thought that's one more avenue. I can repurpose a lot of my content I'm doing anyways on my content planning for the quarter. So it just fits really nicely. And I've had such a great response and I wish I would have started sooner.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on the launch of that.
Thank you.
As mentioned earlier, you're also a university instructor. Can you tell us how that opportunity came about for you?
Yes, that was a few years back now, and I came back to Canada. The school that I did my MBA at, Vancouver Island University on Vancouver Island, I had kept in touch with a few professors, and one had just reached out saying, we're looking for just a part-time management instructor on this course. Would you be interested? And I said, for sure. And then once you teach one course, you have to keep going because you put so much effort into it in the first semester. So then I thought, okay, now it just kind of keeps going. And I really try and, bring students into real life business skills, and they really like that. It's become kind of a passion for me on the side.
So are you still currently teaching in the online space then?
Yep. I taught online. Yeah. I only do it in the fall, one course. Okay. And I did that online as well. So this year they're saying they're going to be back in person, but let's see.
Are you going to be doing that then? If they do go back in person, will you be attending and teaching in person then?
Yes, I likely will. It was usually once or twice a week, so it was manageable. Awesome. But yeah, let's see what happens in September.
Yeah. What were you doing for a living before you made the transition into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I started in the insurance industry as an account representative for a big Canadian insurance company, and then went back to school to get master's in international business. I always wanted to work internationally, and then an MBA, and then I got recruited by a construction company, Lafarge. And I worked for 8 years in Canada with them, managing plants. That was my most recent job, one in Vancouver and then one in Edmonton. Okay. And then from Edmonton, I was recruited by the competition to work for a Swiss company. And then it was more of a consulting role on how to make some of their businesses across the world profitable, all about organizing processes. So for the last 3 years, I was kind of in a consulting role, kind of a global consulting role.
So what prompted the change then? What made you jump to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, like I had mentioned, the last 3 years I was helping businesses, but again, all these employees are working so hard, and it was a great experience and opportunity, but the money just went back to the shareholders. I couldn't help businesses that I cared about or was passionate about.
Yeah. So out of all the hats you wear, author, entrepreneur, university instructor, speaker, do you have a favorite out of all those that you enjoy the most, that lights you up the most?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or is that like asking you to pick a favorite child type thing?
I think when I'm in the moment and depending on the audience, I love speaking events. I'm so excited for them to start again because the connections you get, and that's where I get a lot of people into my courses and they become clients. And then writing, I just love that as well. And that's where I also get clients. So I think all of it falls under entrepreneurship, even university instructor. Sometimes I give my students some, assignments that help my business. Right. So I think the umbrella of entrepreneurship is the most exciting, and everything falls under that.
Yeah. Jane, you also like to do community and philanthropic work, volunteer your time. You're working with an organization called One-to-One. Can you talk to and tell us a bit about the organization and the work you're doing with them?
Yes, I've become passionate about education, especially since working with the university. Right. And One-to-One is it's a Canadian charity to improve literacy in Canada. And I connected with somebody that worked there, I believe not the founder, but somebody who was managing it. And then she let me know how, it's so complicated, and they're like their processes, and they have so many people, and they can't, and the goal is just to help, it's one tutor, one student. Yeah. So I really started working with them just to look at their back end and how they can streamline it, get a bit more organized. I'm still working with her. She jumps into my course. She does the homework, and, it's really been kind of helping them streamline a bit, because big organizations, even charitable ones, often you get overcomplicated and you lose focus on how to get the product or service the most inefficient way possible. And that's what we're working on.
And how long have you been working with them now?
I guess probably a year now.
Okay. So why is giving back and volunteer work so personally important to you?
I never thought about that it was important to me. And then I just wanted to help this company. So I think all of us want to help in some way. And then once the opportunity comes available, or they think, hey, I can actually help with this, that's when it becomes important, or you see the value of it, what you can offer.
Especially one that resonates with you and what you're doing.
Exactly. You don't just want to volunteer. Yeah. And I never actually even thought about it until it came about.
To date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
Yeah, this is a great question. And there's, the biggest high and the greatest win I ever had was my first paid speaking event. And, it hasn't been my highest paid speaking event, but it was the first one that I was actually paid for, because a lot of times as with speakers, and it takes a lot of free stuff to do in terms of, taping yourself and getting sizzle reels, and it takes years to kind of get to that level where you can say, here's my rates. And that, I think, was my biggest high. And it was actually in Edmonton, in a large, it was a women's conference. I think it was over 1,000 women, and a lot of them did become clients. So that was the greatest win, just having that as my first paid speaking event.
Awesome. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Well, being organized. It really is. I always say I'm average, in terms of everything, my IQ and what I can do. Anyone can do what I've done. You just have to be organized. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's true.
All right. Mm-hmm. Speaking of success, how do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I like to look at, is what your legacy is as well, and what will be left. So I say, I would never want to leave this earth before creating some kind of program or document, or just leaving people with something they can use to help get better organized or help them succeed in their lives. So if I can, help other people see the light in terms of this is all they need. It's so simple, like little things they can do to change their life. Yeah. And that's what I'm remembered by. And my business becomes a legacy business. That would be success for me.
Okay. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? What was your life like before learning it? What was your life like after learning it?
Oh, this is a good one. And I think the most important thing, especially as an entrepreneur, is that we think we have to do all of these things and be super busy and do it all. And then I hired a business coach, and she's like, no, you need to get focused. You need to do this. So the most important thing I've learned in my life is to hire a coach. Mm-hmm. And especially when we hire coaches, athletes have coaches, everybody has coaches. So entrepreneurship should be no different. So after learning this, I still have a coach right now. So it really helps me keep on track and keeps my business on pace.
Would you advise other entrepreneurs to hire a coach early on in their business, or wait till they get a little more established? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I think you should have one for every different stage. When I first started, I was scared to personal brand, like market myself. So I hired a personal branding coach to help me get over that fear. Then once I was ready to, scale my course, I hired an expert coach on how to launch a course, right?
Yeah.
So I think at different stages, when somebody comes to me, they already have a successful product or service. They're ready to get organized. So I'll be that coach. I do think at the beginning is important, especially if you need that support to get started.
Right. But what would you say to entrepreneurs who are just starting out that maybe don't have the money to pay for a coach? How do you suggest they go about that?
Yeah, that's also a valid point. And when you're just starting out, you're just really got to focus on, keeping your business afloat and getting clients and getting customers. But there's one area that you're struggling with, and that could be, you don't have to hire that coach right now, but likely that coach has some kind of free offers or something you can even learn from them until you're ready to sign up.
Okay. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
These speaking events and being in a group full of, motivated individuals, even on Zoom too, that makes me just feel like I light up. I feel great. Even after a podcast like this, I just sharing information, talking to others. Hopefully if one person listens and gets more organized, I feel great.
Absolutely. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received, Jane?
Progress over perfection.
I love that one. I just heard that one recently, actually. I think yesterday someone said that to me. Yeah,
it's well known, but I always think about it.
Yeah. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
I believe that, to collaborate over competition, to really, we need to work with our fellow entrepreneurs and everybody in the community and help them and they will help you.
What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
I'd say my career is very unique,
yeah.
But it's not in terms of coaching business or, taking your passion or yours. If you have a skill set, you're actually doing a disservice if you're not packaging it or sharing it with the world. So whatever your skill set is, if it's helping even, teaching yoga classes or whatever it may be,
yeah,
you need to figure out, okay, is this a skill set that people are wanting or needing, training on or whatever you can offer products on. So start there. But I feel like there's a lot of us that have these passions that have now turned into tangible skills that we can help people. And that's where you need to start to see if you can make it into a career.
For sure. What is one of your favorite quotes?
So it's Benjamin Franklin. He was very organized. He said, for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned.
That's awesome. I've never heard that one before. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next group or bunch of questions will be 1, 2, 3 word answer type things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Happy.
Money or fame?
The fame, because then the money will come.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would that be?
To get their sock drawer organized.
Their sock drawer specifically.
I'm sick of all those missing socks. It drives me nuts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Well, the ability to influence more people.
What is one of your favorite entrepreneurial books?
I have 2, the Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, and The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Okay. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
We judge people too much.
Entrepreneur life is?
Complicated, but amazing.
My favorite way to unwind is?
With tequila. I'm not kidding.
I love it. Came with a warning label. What would yours say?
Don't give her 3 tequilas.
You're asking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Organize for Success.
Love it. What is your personal motto?
I kind of stole that from the above question, but it's progress over perfection.
Okay. That concludes our rapid fire section. What's the most recent investment you've made in yourself?
Hiring my next business coach on how to scale my Facebook ads.
Okay. What would you say is one of your biggest failures or teachable moments, and what did you learn from it?
When I started in entrepreneurship, I thought I had to do everything, like, be on all the platforms, have, invest in all this fancy tech, hire people. But really, you just need to start selling a product or service and get feedback from it. I wasted a lot of money in the beginning and a lot of time.
If you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I know this is a difficult question because I probably would have asked where your business is going to be in the next 10 years.
Okay. Well, there you go. Where do you see Organized Jane going in the next 10 years? What is your goal? What is your thoughts on where do you want to see the business in the next 10 years?
So similar to that question on success, for me, this is a legacy business. So in the next 10 years, I believe Organized Jane will be a global company that I'll have a lot of people also helping me to help more people get their business organized, reduce overwhelm, reduce stress, and generally live happier lives because they can have more streams of income because they're organized. So that's what in 10 years, it'll be a global brand with affecting a lot more people.
That's an incredibly lofty goal. I love it. Very ambitious. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
To never devalue your skills, because I did that for 10 years. I didn't think organizing was a business. I devalued. I wouldn't even make people pay for consultations. Even my first book, I felt I can't make them pay for this. This is just, my advice, and it's not a big deal, right? I devalued what I could offer. So never do that.
So where and when and how was the light bulb moment for you then that shifted that mindset that you were in?
When I was working in corporate and helping all these people, and then still had others who had their businesses asking me.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we will pay you this amount. And I thought, okay, well, I need to really sit back and understand my skill set, my training. I'd say when people start coming to you and, as women, we don't like to sometimes ask for payment. But if somebody says, I will pay you for this, it kind of is a light bulb moment of being like, okay, I really need to take this seriously.
Was that a hard mindset shift for you though?
Oh, very hard. It's still hard every day. I have sales calls every day with potential clients, and the hardest part is always just, okay, asking. I would love to have everybody in my course for free.
Yeah.
So it's every day I struggle with that.
Lastly, Jane, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Oh, this is my last speech ever.
What wise words do you want to impart on?
Yeah, no, I would say organizing is a lifestyle. It's not a one size fits all. So really incorporate organizing into your routine so it becomes automatic, just like brushing your teeth.
Okay. Simple and to the point, straightforward. I love it. Jane, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today and share a bit about your story and your journey with us. I appreciate you, and I wish you all the success. I'm sure you will gain global domination with Organized Jane. I think that's an amazing goal, and all the luck in the world to you on that one. And again, I just appreciate you taking the time and being here and now being part of the Empowerography community. It's amazing to have you on board, and I appreciate you.
Yes, well, I appreciate this platform as well, and you taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Jane Stoller. She is the owner, founder, and CEO of Organized Jane. Thanks again, Jane. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you as well. You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.